Hey everybody, this is me, Roger Landolfi, and welcome to my latest unboxing video. So, this is the Grand Funk Railroad Trunk of Funk Volume 2 box that I was going to do for you, because I didn't have the time, because I waited for this to come in the mail for ages, and now it finally came, but I was on holidays at the time when I was waiting for this to arrive. So now, I'm back here to do this one for you. So this is the Grand Funk Railroad Trunk of Funk Volume 2, and this contains the second half of their Capitol Record albums. So, here is the back of the box with, you know, the 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 album with the live album. Now, I took the plasticine off this because I decided that this will be no intro, no nothing, because we're going to go deep down into this, because this will be a continuation from Trunk of Funk Volume 1. So, to start off, here's the booklet of this one. And then it gives a bit of brief historic. This is inside the gatefold to the album Phoenix. And then some more pictures of singles. This is the album cover to the album Born to Die. And then we get the track listing. Really cool. Now this of course has the album that I first heard by Grand Funk Railroad, so I'll talk about that when I get to it. But for now, this is Grand Funk Railroad's 6th studio album, Phoenix, from 1972. And then here's the back. And this was kind of when Grand Funk Railroad were starting to decline a little bit, because this album had really poor production. And what I like most about this front cover is that it has a phoenix jumping through fire. It's a bit similar to the album cover of Pantera's Reinventing the Steel, which is kind of a lame album cover. This could be lame as well, but clearly this album cover is better. And although this had poor production, the album features the big hit single on here, Rock and Roll Soul. And then it could be like saying Rubber Soul, which is an album title by the Beatles from 1965. And possibly with Soul in title, it could be like Soul Dressing and Soul Limbo, which are song titles by both song titles from Booker T and the MGs, from 65 record of Soul Dressing of the same name, and then Soul Limbo from 1968 of the same name. And then songs with rock and roll in the title. Well, rock and roll on its own are song titles by Status Quo from 1980's Just Supposin', Led Zeppelin on Zeppelin 4, and The Velvet Underground on 1970's Loaded, and then an album title by John Lennon from 1975. And then perhaps Rock and Roll Over by Kiss from 1976. And Rock and Roll Never Forgets by Bob Seger on 1976's Night Moves. And there's so many that I can talk about with rock and roll in the title, which is cool. And the first song in this album kind of got the name of its title for the album, Flight of the Phoenix, which kind of would make sense. And then we have another track called Trying to Get Away, and Get Away is our album titles by both Chris de Burgh from 1982 and by the Red Hot Chili Peppers from 2016. And then Getaway by Kiss from 1975's Dressed to Kill. And then Trying on its own is a song titled by the Eagles from their 1972 self-titled debut album, which is pretty cool. And then another track called Freedom is for Children. Well, I don't see it that way. Basically, freedom is basically for both children and even young teenagers, especially when they are free from secondary school and whatever education they do afterwards. And Freedom on its own obviously is an album titled by Neil Young, which is 30 this year from 1989, which is pretty cool. And then another track called So You Won't Have to Die is nearly like saying some of you are going to die, which is a line mentioned in the Genesis song The Knife from 1970's Trespass, which is pretty cool. I'll talk about more songs in a minute, but what I'll do now is show you the gatefold. As you can see, it has the track listing with Mark Farner, Mel Shocker, and Don Brewer. And then, here is the disc. All discs are the same but different colours. This is a yellow and red disc. And Craig Frost, who was in Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band, was actually joining at this point. That's why he's a session keyboard player on this record, which is pretty cool. And then another song in here is called Someone. It could be like saying Song for Someone by U2 from a 2014 album, Songs of Innocence, which you probably had on your phone at one time, which I'm not so sure. But I think you did, but let me know. And then with Rain Keeps Falling, it could be Rain on its own is by Kiss, Status Quo, and and the Beatles, from Past Masters, Carnival of Souls, and Blue for You. And then Red Rain by Peter Gabriel on 1986's So. And yeah, that's pretty cool. So this is and maybe Gotta Find Me Better Days, like saying Tomorrow's Gonna Be Another Day by the Monkees from their 66 debut album, and then Better Days by Bruce Springsteen from 1992's Lucky Town, but it should have really been 1993. And then there's, of course, I Just Gotta Know, which is cool. So anyway, this is cool. This is a fine record. I'll see what happens when I listen to it. And now, we get the album that introduced me to Grand Funk Railroad's music. It is the classic, the ultimate, 1973, We're an American Band. I mean, what an album this is. And then you can't see the track listing on the back of this, because there is no track listing. And, no, there is, inside the gatefold. And now Craig Frost joins the band as keyboard player for a fourth member. So the actual track We're an American Band is amazing. And it's sung by Don Brewer, the drummer. And as I said, he's my second favourite singing drummer after Phil Collins. And the We're an American Band song was played in a Simpsons episode where Metallica were guest stars. And again, even though I meant to do a video saying goodbye Metallica because I was kind of fed up with them, but it doesn't mean I don't love some of their music. And then, because again, Homer is the man on the guitar, definitely. And then, the other single on this is called Walk Like a Man, which is also a song titled by Bruce Springsteen from 1987's Tunnel of Love, and also played in Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Dog Days, and it's on the soundtrack as well, which could be on the early roots of the HSW and Little Mix cover version 6878. And then I also like the last song on this album called Loneliest Rider, and with Loneliest, it could be like saying Lonely Sky, which is by Krista Berg from 80's Eastern Wind, I think. And then with Rider, we could be like saying Star Rider or else Night Rider by ELO. I don't know who and Star Rider's by Foreigner from their 77 debut album. And then Night Rider's on Facebook Music by ELO. And then another track called Creepin', which I think is another cool song. Creepin' could be like saying Creepin' In by Norah Jones featuring Dolly Parton. And then maybe Creep by Radiohead on 1973's Pablo Honey. And then we have Ain't Got Nobody, which could be like saying Ain't Got You by Springsteen from 87's Tunnel of Love. And then Stop Looking Back is like saying No Looking Back by Leo Sayer on his 1978 self-titled album, which is pretty cool. And the great thing about having a fourth member is that it was nearly similar to Bart and James Harris, but vice versa, where they were a four-piece and they went as a trio then when Wooly Wolstenholme left. And this album was produced by Todd Rundgren, who produced a couple of other bands, but had a few career on his own, which is pretty cool. And I'll just show you the gatefold again. You can see the pictures. And as you can see, they're all topless, which is not appropriate nowadays. And here is the disc, which is all red and blue. My two favourite colours, actually, because then, as you know, purple is my third and white is my fourth. And actually, my fifth favourite colour is black, which is pretty cool. And then, Black Licorice is a very cool title for a name. For Black, there's different songs with Black in the title, but I'm not going to mention all of them. And then there's the Railroad. It could be like saying Railroad Work Song by the Notting Hillbillies, featuring Mark Knopfler. So yeah, really cool album. I love this. You think they could do any better? Well, guess what? They did better as well. 1974, 45th anniversary this year, Shining On. I mean, really cool album as well. The title track Shining On is just amazing. And it's also featured in the Simpsons episode where Homer was listening to Grand Funk Railroad, but Milhouse asked him to change station, but then Homer was like, "But this is Grand Funk Railroad. You guys back there know Grand Funk, right?" And then, "Nobody knows the band Grand Funk? The fabulous lyrics of Mark Farner, the rumbling bass by Mel Shocker, the phenomenal drum work by Don Brewer? Oh man!" Basically, he was very annoyed that people didn't know Grand Funk Railroad at the time. And then they also do a cover of The Locomotion, which is a really good song. Little Eva had the original, and then Kylie Minogue did a version of it as well. I like her version as well. I must admit, Kylie Minogue is a really good singer. And then there's Please Me, which is like saying Please Please Me, which is a Beatles song from 1963 record of the same name. And then we also have Mr. Pretty Boy, which could be like saying Pretty Boy Floyd, which Bob Dylan did for the Woody Guthrie and Lead Belly tribute album. And Then I like, of course, the track, and then there's also a track called Little Johnny Hooker, which could be like saying about John Lee Hooker, the amazing blues artist, which is pretty cool. And this album was really popular at the time, and on the front cover, these are the shining on 3D glasses. You can actually peel them off and put them on your eyes. Apparently, it was in the limited edition box set, which I don't have here to show you, which you get to see them on. And then here is, of course, the disc, a very silvery with red logo on the front, which is pretty cool. And again, Craig Frost was still on the keyboards there, because in that same year, in 1974, Bob Seger had the album 7, and then last year he had, back in 72, with Turn the Page, which is a Rush song as well, and even on Hold Your Fire, and then even Metallica covered that Bob Seger Turn the Page as well, which is awesome. And then we have, and then there's To Get Back In, which could be like, well, Get Back is a Beatles song from Let It Be, and then also Get Back to the Country by Neil Young, which is amazing. And yeah, a really cool, phenomenal album. This is 45 years and it's still going strong today. And I think it's one of the best albums that they've ever recorded. Yeah, sorry about that. I just had to go to the bathroom there because I was kind of bursting a little bit. So now what we can do is get you the last few records of Grand Funk Railroad's discography. The next one is also in 1974 and 7, but it kind of goes on to 1975 in a way, and it's their 9th studio album, All the Girls in the World Beware, which a friend of mine in Canada said that this is the very first studio album that he never bought from Grand Funk Railroad because he lost interest at the time. But I think this is a very funny album cover with them trying to do all the muscle thingy, and then basically I know Don Brewer and Mark Farner, or is it Craig Frost, are wearing the blue pants, and then Mel Shocker and Craig Frost wearing red pants. But anyway, here's the back. And the 2 hit singles on this album are, of course, the song Bad Time, which is basically like saying Good Times, Bad Times by Led Zeppelin from the 50th anniversary debut album. And then, of course, Bad on Its Own are song titles by both U2 on the 35th anniversary of Unforgettable Fire and by Michael Jackson from the 1987 record of the same name. And then the other hit single on this album is called Some Kind of Wonderful, which to me gives me a bit of a Status Quo kind of vibe to it, with the Can I Get a Witness? The drums on that are so Status Quo-esque, and the beat as well. And Some Kind of Wonderful is like saying Some Kind of Love, which is a song titled by the Velvet Underground from the 1969 50th anniversary self-titled album, which I think is a really good song. And and the first track is called Life, which is an album titled by Sly and the Family Stone of 68. And then all the songs like In My Life by BJH, Rod Stewart, which he covered from the Beatles. And then In My Secret Life by Leonard Cohen as well. And then we also have Look at Granny Run Run. With Run Run, it could be like saying Run Run Run, which are by both the Velvet Underground from 1967's Velvet Underground and Nico, and by AHSW from 66 as a quick one, which Little Mix could have done on the Salute record as an outtake. And then we have, of course, The Good and Evil, like saying the evil and the good living side by side, which is mentioned in Bob Dylan's Scarlet Town on 2012's Tempest, which is a good song. And there's a lot of cool moments on here as well. And then here's the gatefold with the singles, and then the disc as well. And then I like the Grand Funk Railroad band as well. They kind of remind me of another band on this cover, but I don't know who it is. And Bad Time was a top hit in the USA, which makes it which could make this an excellent album. So that's that one. Okay, so next up we get Grand Funk's second live album of the whole thing. 1975's Caught in the Act. And its title, Caught in the Act, could be like saying Caught in the Light, which is an album title by Barclay James Harvest, which is one of their fine albums, with a track like Copy or Manier being a classic. And let's see, they do a live version of Foot Stomping Music, Rock and Roll Soul, Closer to Home, Heartbreaker, Some Kind of Wonderful, Shining On, The Locomotion, Black Licorice, The Railroad, We're an American Band, TNUC, Inside Looking Out and Give Me Shelter, which are kind of more Don Brewer drum solos, I think, but now with Craig Frost this time. And then here's our gatefold. Well, here's the gatefold, even not our gatefold. And then a disc which is all grey and black, which is cool. So yeah, really good live album. And then the last album in the discography of Grand Funk Railroad's Capitol Records is 1976's poorly reviewed album, Born to Die. And then here's the back. And the front cover is basically all of the members in coffins of what they would look like when they die. And that's why Born to Die is like saying Born to Run, which is a song title by Bruce Springsteen from 1975 record of same name. And then Born to Move by Creedence Clearwater Revival on 1970's Pendulum. And then the title song Born to Die was written for a relative of Mark Foreigner who died in a car accident, which was very sad. That's why the song Sally was written for his then girlfriend, Sally Kiernan. Or it could be like saying Sally Simpson, which is a song titled by AHSW from 50th anniversary of Tommy, which could then also be for Little Mix on the Glory Days album for outtake. And then another track called Politician as well, which actually is a song titled by Cream on both Wheels of Fire and Goodbye. And then there's Take Me, which is a song titled by Kiss from 76's Rock and Roll Over. And also then other ones like Take Me Home by Aladdin and Phil Collins from their albums. And then Take Me to the Mardi Gras by Paul Simon. And Take Me to the River by Al Green and covered by Talking Heads and Brian Ferry. And then loads of other ones. And then Talk to the People could be like saying Tell All the People by The Doors from the 1969 album The Soft Parade, as well as the 50th anniversary of Jim Morrison being arrested in Miami, Florida for indecent exposure. And then with a song called I Fell For Your Love, it's like saying I'll Work For Your Love by Bruce Springsteen from the Magic album, which is pretty cool. And then here is the gatefold with Sally, and then of course Take Me. Oh, did you see this is very thin, a bit of a thin cardboard. And then here's the disc, which is all yellow and black, which is cool. I need to be careful on this one because it's a bit loose. But anyway, so that's it. That's my unboxing of Grand Funk Railroad's Trunk of Funk Volume 2. I hope you all enjoyed it. Grand Funk Railroad are an amazing rock band. They then had later releases such as Good Singing, Good Playing from the same year, and then What's Funk in 1981, but Mel Shacker was gone and Craig Frost was gone, and then What's Funk in 1983. But overall, this is an excellent collection, and then just get the first one. If you haven't got these two box sets of Grand Funk Railroad, I highly recommend you pick them up. They're a really good band to check out. So, thank you very much, guys. Sorry, I'm just getting this back in my collection. So remember to subscribe to my channel, leave your comment below on what you think of Grand Funk Railroad, and I'll see you in the forthcoming days for more videos. Thank you very much, take care, and bye-bye.